The child did not scream. It sang as the flames licked its skin. Then the heat in Kael's hand, a glow that did not come from outside, but from a place deeper than bone, deeper than memory. 7 different powers awakened within him at once, and as they did, something else inside him began to break. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like a rope pulled too tight, its fibers snapping one by one, so softly that no one hears it until it's too late. Kael could use all 7 gifts. Everyone else paid for just one, with years of their life, with memories, with the part of the soul that separates a human from a shadow. The blood gift consumed lifespan. The time gift consumed thoughts. The shadow gift devoured emotions, one by one, until its user smiled without remembering why they had ever cried. Kael paid none of that. He paid something else. "I always pay," he whispered, just differently. His hands became more transparent as he looked at the child. The child lived. The price had already been paid. He just didn't know how high it was. In Karath, people do not die from weakness. They die because they cannot afford the blood gift. Every heartbeat costs, and those who cannot pay simply stop beating. The system does not call this injustice. It calls it balance. The rich bought decades. The poor bought weeks. The children in the streets bought nothing at all, because no one had told them their lives were already for sale. The system worked perfectly. Kael looked at the bodies and understood, for the first time, that perfection and cruelty could be the same word. He placed both hands on the burning building. The fire froze, not slowly, but in a way the eye could not process, as if someone had rewound time and forgotten to tell it when to move forward again. The beams repaired themselves. The smoke pulled back into wood that had never burned. The child breathed again. Kael looked through his own hand at the stone beneath it, and still held the child. An impossibility no one commented on, because they were too busy trying to understand what they had just witnessed. He only felt it when Nara stepped back. Not from the fire, that was gone. From him. His voice sounded thinner than before, as if someone were speaking through several walls. His footsteps left weaker traces in the dust, as if he weighed less than he had an hour ago.
"I have something to tell you."
"You're becoming a ghost," she whispered. Kael wanted to argue. Then he realized he could no longer remember his mother's face. Not blurred, just gone. An empty frame where something had been. He stood completely still for a second, and in that second, the price was more real than anything he had ever touched with a gift. Nara had lost her name to the name gift. Not in battle, not as a heroic act. She had sold it because she was hungry, and in Nar, names were the only currency that always found a buyer. Trust was a luxury the nameless could not afford, because trust required a name you could give. She had none, but Kael never addressed her as you. Every day he invented new words for her, not names, something between a name and a description, as if offering her a new possibility without demanding she accept it. "Morning Echo," he said that evening. "Stay." For the first time, she did. The gifts obeyed him now without resistance. Time bent around his fingers when he needed it. Blood danced to his will, following commands he only thought, never spoke. Shadows carried him through the city like water that knew his shape. An old man watched him from a bridge and whispered something to his wife. Kael heard it despite the distance, because the shadow gift carried sound as well. Like the gods, back then. Kael stopped. "Gods forget they were once human," he said quietly, not to the old man, but to himself. A reminder, a warning. Then he looked through his own hand and watched his heart. It beat slower than yesterday, slower than an hour ago. The gods had paid a price too, and no one had recorded how long it took them to notice. Nara found the records in the archives of Karath. Old ink on old paper, but the handwriting was precise, almost clinical. The writing of someone who had a great deal of time and wasted very little of it. Sarath knew his name. had written it down before Kael was even born, in a document with no date, because its author had no need for dates. "What is sacrificed returns," Nara read aloud. Her voice remained steady, direct, but her hands held the paper tighter than necessary. Kael said nothing. He looked at his hands, at the paper, at the ink older than himself. The footsteps drew closer. Sarath's voice whispered his name, but Sarath stood right in front of him, silent, his eyes wide open. You won't believe what Karath is capable of. Follow for part 2, and leave your opinion in the comments.